Grace and peace. Welcome to Hip Hop History, the channel that takes a deeper look at the origins and the elements of hip hop culture. Don't forget to check us out on all of our social media platforms. On Facebook at Urban Exegesis, on Instagram, TikTok, and our other YouTube channel, they can be found at Urban Exegesis Studios. Please consider joining and becoming a member of the Hip Hop History family. You can find the link to channel membership in the description. Channel members get exclusive video content and exclusive members-only live streams. Don't forget to hit the like, the share, and the subscribe button, and smash that notification bell so you can get all the latest videos as they become available. Thank you for tuning in. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
His name is James Reese Europe. His family moved to Washington, D.C., and then eventually he wound up in New York City in 1904. This is where it starts getting interesting. In 1914, the citizens of Harlem, they petitioned the governor of New York State to grant them their own military unit to be based in Harlem. They hired James Reese Europe. He got the rank of lieutenant, and he created an ensemble. And this group, what they did, which is really important, was they created a new sound. This gentleman here, Rafael Hernandez, one of the most important composers of music from Puerto Rico, well, he happens to be, he was a trombonist. And what happened was James Reese Europe was ordered by his superiors in the United States Army to go to Puerto Rico and recruit dark-skinned musicians to join his military outfit. Musicians in places like Puerto Rico, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Panama, etc., were known for their excellent musical training. The reason why I like to stress about people like Rafael Hernandez in particular, or these Latinos who are involved in these groups, a lot of historians will still consider Latin jazz or Latinos' involvement in jazz, because that's what this is about at this point. This is Latinos' involvement in jazz. Many historians will only focus on what happened in the latter part of the 1940s with Dizzy Gillespie recording with Chano Pozo, or Charlie Parker recording with the Machito Orchestra. Then that's when they start saying, oh, that's when Latinos started to get involved. And that's really not accurate. This is another very important individual. His name was Rafael Bob Escudero. Now, let's first talk about Fletcher Henderson. Fletcher Henderson's band was one of the most important bands to help to develop the sound of what was to become known as the swing era or the big band sound. Fletcher's band was in the 1920s. He was already putting together an ensemble that was not a mirror of what was happening in New Orleans. New Orleans music at the time had a trumpet player, a clarinetist, and a trombonist, and usually doing like a collective improvisation thing. Well, no, in Fletcher's situation in New York City in the 1920s, he was already doing elaborate arrangements for large ensembles. So here's Bob Escudero, he's from Manatí, Puerto Rico, born in 1898. But he was a tubist, he was a tuba player from Puerto Rico who settled in New York City and wound up being a member of the Fletcher Henderson Orchestra. Of course, we all love the great Duke Ellington. But in his band was a great valve trombonist from Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. His name was Juan Tisol. But his compositions are really important because even till this day, they are part of the library of the Duke Ellington Orchestra. So here he is as a gentleman from Puerto Rico on the band. He befriended Duke when they were both residing in Washington, D.C. before Duke made his second trek to New York City in the 1920s. And so Tisol was a member of the band for quite some time, and his compositions were used in the band. In the earlier versions of Caravan, they're playing like an exotic kind of style of music. It's not like a swing style. It has a lot of percussion type of sounds. Not traditional percussion instruments like from Latin America, but the drum set's playing in a style that was not really the way swing bands are playing. And let's not forget something else. Duke during the period of the latter part of the 20s into the early 30s, he was the house band at the Cotton Club, where they had to create new music constantly. He had to write new music for these shows that would come in for a month at a time, and there were floor shows with exotic dancers, and the focus of this whole thing was exotic music, and they called it jungle music, darkest Africa, and Duke Ellington. So, and the thing was is that all of the dancers were African American. The female dancers had to be light skinned, but Duke was in the middle of that, and they were experimenting with sounds that could be considered highly connected with Latin America at the time, because it was not a swing style. It was a different approach to the sound.